This video is about my first time trip to Galloping Ghost arcade in Brookfield, Illinois. I've heard about it for many years, never had a chance to go until recently, and I was extremely impressed. One thing I noticed off the bat is that there's Galloping Ghost arcade and then there's Galloping Ghost pinball, which has all pinball machines that I visited. And there's also a gym and then a production studio. I think they probably do repairs and other things like that. I was only there for a day. I took a train ticket out from where I am to there, a cheap hotel. And for some reason, I kind of knew being there for a day wasn't going to be enough because I kind of figured that there's going to be so much to take in all at once. So I wanted to share the most interesting games that I found at Galloping Ghost arcade. These games, ones I have heard of and never played, ones that I played before only on MAME and emulators, and games that I have never ever heard of. So let's start with Zing Sing Zip. I love the art style of this one, pretty fun gameplay. The next game is Chimera Beast. This game is kind of weird. It's a horizontal shooter where you play as some sort of like beast that eats things, and you use it to upgrade your beast to increase its firepower and stuff like that. Really weird game. The next game I tried was Mission Craft. This wasn't too impressive, but it was kind of interesting to kind of like check out nonetheless. It was a vertical shooter made in the, I think, mid 90s or early 2000s. Radiant Silvergun. It's my first time coming across a cab of Radiant Silvergun, and I noticed off top it's only 3 buttons, and I was actually able to play really well with just 3 buttons, and I might stick with that when I continually learn on Steam. The next game is Holosseum. I played this on stream a while ago through MAME, and playing it in person, yeah, it was definitely very interesting. It's a 3D game that uses like holograms, and it's from like the 80s, and it was, yeah, definitely a very interesting game. Mock Breaker. I've heard of this one actually through Twitter, and I forgot about it until I came across it, and it's like a really silly like sports game that uses only buttons, and playing it there was so much fun. I decided to get it on MAME when I returned. Hacha Mecha Fighter. This was a pretty cute horizontal shooter where the ships were just like really big. Like the enemies are big, your ship is big, your options are big, everything is just like really big, and the game has some pretty cool backgrounds that I thought were really impressive, and I might play this game further down the road. Contra Evolution. This game, I've never heard of this particular Contra game. I think it's like Chinese or something like that. I don't know how they got it. And playing it, I'm gonna be honest, it wasn't too crazy of a game, but it was very interesting to sit at the cab and check it out nonetheless. Osmond. This was a side-scrolling kind of beat 'em up. It kind of reminded me a little bit of like Strider. Judge Dredd. This is a light gun game. I didn't know that they had a light gun game of Judge Dredd, but yeah, this was okay. I thought it was fun for a couple minutes. One thing that stood out to me is that the enemies and the innocent bystanders, they look just the same, and I was like capping all of them. Alligator Hunt. This was a pretty interesting kind of gallery shooter, sort of, where you're this kid and you're just like shooting up, I don't know, aliens and stuff like that, and then eventually you gain control and upgrade into a ship. But overall, this game is pretty impressive. I think it's from like the late 90s, early 2000s. Street Fighter 1. I actually never ever played Street Fighter 1 in the arcade before. I think the first time I actually played Street Fighter 1 was through the Street Fighter 6 like arcade games thing that they had. And I know that this isn't the actual cab of it. I think it's just like a Street Fighter 2 case with Street Fighter 1 inside, but it was fun to experience nonetheless. Blast Off. I almost walked past this game, and it's a very, very early vertical shooter. And playing it, I thought it was actually quite fun. It had some pretty cool mechanics. Like you can like switch your weapon, and the speed of everything was like quite nice. It didn't feel like sluggish or too outdated. But yeah, this was a pretty interesting game. Laser Ghost. I've played this a couple times on MAME, and playing it on the cab with the gun and the other guns, surrounding for other players, it definitely gave the game a whole nother dimension, and I had fun playing that one. Gamshara. I've never played this game before. It's kind of like Wild Guns set in like ancient Japan, and has some pretty impressive graphics, pretty impressive sound. Gameplay, I thought it was quite fun for a little bit. It kind of like things got kind of annoying for me after a while from like playing it for too long, because it'll just get like really difficult, and stages will kind of drag on for a while. But overall, it was fun to come across this game, as I never heard of it before. Darius Burst EXAC. This was my first time coming across a Darius Burst cab that you can like sit inside, and it was a pretty fun and interesting experience to actually get inside a Darius cab. So if you're there at Galloping Ghost, go ahead, take a seat, play with some friends. It was empty when I was up in there, but yeah, definitely check it out. Zombie Raid. This is a light gun shooter that has the light gun mounted on the cab, similar to Laser Ghost. One thing I noticed is that there's like some crazy recoil on the gun, which I found pretty satisfying. Overall, pretty fun game. Nostradamus. This is a vertical shooter. I never heard of this one before. It's kind of bizarre looking, but I played it for a couple minutes, and I thought it was, something that definitely like stood out to me. Nothing too special. Blackheart. This was a horizontal shooter where you ride on some like dragon or something like that, and the game had pretty good speed, pretty good flow, and I thought the backgrounds and graphics were pretty good, and also like the kind of like dark, kind of gothic sort of like vibe to the game. Resident Evil Code Veronica. I didn't know that there was a cab for this, and honestly, playing it was interesting because there's like a light gun, and then you can like move the light gun around, back, forth, left, and right, where you can like turn Claire around and stuff like that. And I found it very difficult to like maneuver around, but it was definitely fun to check out and experience this one. Dolphin Blue. This is a game that people have told me about quite a bit, and I actually have it on Flycast emulator, and I never played it until I came across the cab at Galloping Ghost, and I had a lot of fun playing it. It reminds me of Metal Slug quite a bit. I would definitely be playing more of this in the future. Primal Rage 2. I almost forgot about this one when I was there until I came across it, and I was like, oh man, here it is, Primal Rage 2, the game that's only at Galloping Ghost that you can play. And playing it definitely was a lot different from playing regular Primal Rage. It kind of reminded me of playing like Killer Instinct. So it definitely was a change of pace. You play as like humans, and then you can like transform into the animals, dinosaurs or whatever. And it felt good to actually play this. I almost forgot about this game. But yeah, Primal Rage 2 is definitely a game you need to check out if you're at Galloping Ghost. It's definitely one of a kind. There were so many games that I did not get a chance to play while I was at Galloping Ghost. I liked how organized everything was there. Like there was like a dedicated shmup room where there's nothing but shmups of all different kinds. There was an area full of midway games, like there was like, you know, Mortal Kombat and NBA Jam and stuff like that. And then there's like the you know, pictures of the cast and stuff that I saw. I thought that was very, very impressive. There's like a section of just like Capcom fighters and other Capcom games. Like there was like a whole section full of just Neo Geo MVS games. I did notice that space was sort of an issue. I'm assuming they're gonna have to maybe get another space expansion, because it seems like everything is sort of like cramped up in there. So I hope that they get another like space expansion. I don't know where. It seems like the building was kind of already full. Maybe they have to bring things upstairs. And also I noticed, because of the sheer amount of cabs they have there, maintenance, it seemed to be a little bit of an issue. There were some cabs that had screens that were totally like burnt out. There were some games that had controller issues. Some of the light gun games needed recalibration. That I found a little disappointing, but again, it's tough, you know, having all those machines and stuff like that. And you know, I know maintenance is probably, you know, quite difficult. So hopefully, you know, that can be stepped up a little bit. I will definitely be returning back to Galloping Ghost in the future, because there were so many games I did not get a chance to play. I would definitely return. So if you're watching this and you want to go to Galloping Ghost, go ahead and go. Take that pilgrimage and go. Every video gamer needs to check out Galloping Ghost. Even if you're not really into retro games, it's just something that you just have to check out to just get familiar with just the history of arcade games as a whole.
Coming near sleeper. Warning, danger zone.